Hail and good morning to you all. Welcome to the program. I'm Scotty Roberts, your host. And while this is not the official Intrepid radio program, we are broadcasting in the same way on the same channel, doing all the same things, except we're a lot more informal on Sunday mornings. And for those of you who aren't aware of that or who might be new to this little program, so welcome. And how's everybody doing? How's your Sunday morning going? How's your week been and your weekend been, which is only about half over? And we're only going to take up an hour and a half to 2 hours of it or so, if you stick around that long. So everybody, welcome to the show. So glad you could be here this morning. And Steph, welcome, Steph Cuervo Queen. And let's see. What's that? LOL, that pic, LOL, says it all, like my tank top. I licked it. It's mine. There you go. I missed something along the way there. But let's see. Randall Flagg, you're here this morning. So far, these are the people in the chat room. Jason Patrick is here. And we got Sandra Saunders is here, all the way from Great Britain. So it's good you can make it in this morning. I think I have a hair in my mouth. A cat hair or something. Everything around here sheds and vomits on things. So let's see who else we got. We got Cordia is here this morning. How you doing, Cordia? Good to see you. And Ryan Gale, top of the morning, he says. So good to have you all here this morning. And if you're watching, there's a lot more of you watching. If you want to come on into the chat room, you're welcome. Nobody here bites, at least not too hard. And you can join the conversation this morning. So what's going on with it? Heather White is here from Scotland, from Glasgow. How you doing, Heather White? It's good to see you. You should call in this morning, just because you've called in last time about 6 months ago. So nice to see you here. A good friend of mine from Scotland. She's been a friend of mine since my Taps Para magazine days. And we've never met face to face. So I haven't been to Scotland in all that time in the last 12 years. So it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here this morning. Hi, she says. I'm having coffee. What are you all having? So this is in my Subspace Radio mug, which has all really got to be changed now. That was Subspace when we were just Subspace. Now we're Subspace Odyssey Radio. And doing well, Heather White. Doing about as well as I can. I hope you're well, you and the boys and the boyos. So you see pictures all the time. I'm glad you're all doing well. Steph says, I'm dying to go to Scotland. It's on my bucket list. And I've been to Scotland twice, and but haven't been in the last 15 years. So maybe that's one of the trips we ought to do with Intrepid Radio. We should get a trip to Scotland put together. Ken Ballos is here. How you doing, Kenny? Good to see you, brother. Glad you could make it over this morning. And just coffeeing up, which you'll understand that language. And I'm trying to think. It seems that there's a lot going on to talk about. Certainly a lot in the news. We could be a news show this morning. Maybe we'll hit on a couple of current topics. But the pic of Raini licking my cheek. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I licked it. It's mine. That picture was taken in 2005. I think that was very mid-autumn 2005. So, God, probably 18 years ago that picture was taken. And it's in the opener. Yeah, that was a good picture. And it was on the webcam here that was actually taken. Heather says, I'm tidying my house and hovering as I'm watching. Fantastic. You know, you can broadcast this to your TV from YouTube. I don't know that you can do it on Facebook. And Heather, you're on Facebook, CNS, so you might not see all of the chats, and they might not all see you. So for a better chat, go over to the YouTube channel, but stay right where you are. If it's a problem, just leave it right where it is. So it's good to. I'm glad you're here. Steph says we can fly a drone over the loch to look for Nessie. Do you know that there are live cams that have been set up for many years over at Loch Ness? I used to, just for fun, in the middle of the night, if I didn't have anything to do, I'd look at. I'm not in Rumble, Steph. I should be, and I'm not. I used to go look at the world cams that you could look all over the place. And it seems like we've advanced so much technologically and information wise, even since that. But that had to be 10 years ago at least. But there was a webcam, a couple of them set up at Loch Ness, where you could just 24/7 watch the loch. JP says we're broadcasting to TV, messes with the comments stuff. Yes, we are. Oh, broadcasting to TV messes with the comments stuff. Gotcha. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Steph says, I know about the live cams, but I saw a drone with some interesting footage. Oh, have to take a look at that. See what's up out there. So my mom called me yesterday, and she's doing fantastic as always. She is 82 years old, and she still runs her own business down in Yuma, Arizona. She runs a karaoke business, or karaoke, however you want to say it. And she's been doing that for 30 years, probably or more, early 90s, something like that. And she was up here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and she had a show, and she really had one of the best reputations out there. She was the first to get that extensive computer library when they did that, when it was all computerized. And she had the biggest library of songs, a lot of followers. And then when she moved down to Arizona, which was 2006, she moved down because a good friend of hers that I knew since I was a child, a small child. It was kind of funny. I'm not rabbit trailing. I'm just kind of rabbit trailing within the main story. We had neighbors. Nancy was her name. She had two daughters. My mom had my brother and I, and then eventually my little sister. And they were best friends. And then Nancy moved out to one of the suburbs. We were all in the inner city of Minneapolis. And then my mom moved out to the suburbs, and we were close enough, 15-minute drive, 10 minutes, 15. And they were friends their whole lives. We always did stuff with them. And my mom and she were always fast friends. And then she ended up moving to Arizona. I don't know when. It was maybe 10 years before my mom did. And so my mom in 2006 says, I'm moving to Arizona. Scotty, you're about to have a little 4-year-old show up on your doorstep if she keeps her upper act today. Send her over, Brianna. We need some floors scrubbed. Tell her we need some toilets done with a toothbrush. And if she's coming over, we're taking her. So we got to get you guys over soon anyway. Now there's a rabbit trail. Brianna, you and John, let's talk. We got to figure out some time when we can all get together. So in the coming weeks here. But yeah, if that little girl needs something to do because mom needs her to have something to do, you send her right over, and we'll provide the toothbrush. So, yes, not Brianna, been there, not Scotty's doorstep, but the kid acting up. Oh, I thought you said Steph's been to my doorstep, or Brianna, not you, the little kid. So I didn't know where you were going with that, Steph, and then I finally read it right. So my mom had this best friend. So she moved down to Yuma, Arizona, because she thought, I want to get away from the Minnesota winters. I want to do something different. I'm older. She was what was that? Almost 20 years ago. So she was 60 to 63, somewhere in that range, 65 maybe, when she moved down there. About the age I am now. And I'm going to be 63 in just a few days here. So she's about the age I am when she moved down there. And she was running her business all these years down there. And when she left with just her minivan. And she left everything in her house. She gave us the house. So we took over what was on the mortgage. And she just took her karaoke equipment, which pretty much filled her minivan, all her speakers and stuff like that. And she took her clothes and she put a carrier on the top and took some stuff in there. Everything else that couldn't fit in that minivan, she left here. She moved down there. Her friend owned an art studio down there and another house. And my mom rented a house from her. She's still in that house. An adobe type of house. And then her friend passed away a couple of years ago, had cancer. And so my mom called me yesterday, all of that to bring us all the way back around. My mom said, I think I'm going to be moving back up there sometime in the next year or so. She said, I'm getting old. She said, I'm 82 and she's in good shape. She's still a beautiful woman, and she's aged very well. She has great genes, and she has been active all this time and doing her own business and running her karaoke company at several different locations and singing. And there it is. But she said there's not much that she wants to stay down there for anymore. She said, I don't really want to come up and have the winters. She said, but I'd rather come up now that I'm getting older. She said, I miss being around my grandkids all the time because she doesn't see them as often as she'd like. And so I said, that'd be fantastic. So let's see. Brianna says she's been, which one is it, Brianna? She's been a terror the 4-year-old. So I know it is. It's Harley. She's been a terror all morning between getting into cookies, nail polish, detangle spray, nail clippers, and throwing her sippy cup across the living room because she didn't get a yoo-hoo. We got a couple of yoo-hoos here. And all I wanted to do was finish my last 2 assignments, says Brianna. Well, bring her over. Ellery would have a blast with her. And so if you want to drop her off, Brianna, that's cool. Raini's upstairs. Well, I'm not putting babysitting responsibilities on Raini without asking her. I just say send her over. She'll play with Rowan and Ellery. And I'm pretty sure, well, Rowan's getting to that age where she's like, oh, she's a little girl. I hang with high school seniors. See, Rowan is on the cheerleading squad, as is Ellery, but Ellery's, it's cheerleaders in training squad kind of thing. And Rowan is in cheerleading and athletics and basketball and volleyball and all that stuff. And she was bragging to me the other day, Dad, those girls I'm hanging out with, they're seniors in high school. And I said, and they want to hang out with you? And she said, yeah. So, yeah, not a yoo-hoo, a Yahoo. There you go. Hey, Roger Rabbit, welcome to the program. And so my cheerleader daughter, my older one, she just is turning 12. Raini took her to the Mall of America yesterday, which if you all didn't know that's up here in the outskirts of Minneapolis suburbs, and which is 40-minute drive from here. So Raini took her and a friend of hers out to the Mall of America. That was her birthday present. And Dad did the thing where I just gave her some cash for her birthday. So she had money to spend at the Mall of America. And what did she buy? Nothing productive. Well, although one is an outfit, but she bought a midriff, a tight, long-sleeved green midriff shirt. And like a gym shirt almost, but not gym shirt. Green. And then she bought a pair of really loose, baggy Christmas Grinch, like sweatpants, but not sweatpants. And what else did she get to go with that outfit? Different things. She got a hat. It's like a cowboy hat with a Santa top on it and a bell, but it's all Grinch. It's like, well, I'm glad you got Grinch stuff. So there you go. And yes, Sandra, I was going to get to that. Ruben, I've heard nothing new on Ruben Fasthorse. So the last I talked to Susie, who is Ruben used to call her his girlfriend, then he called her his wife. They've been together for 8 years. They're not legally married, but I think they're legally common law. But she doesn't know much new. She has, if you're thinking of Ruben, think of Susie in your prayers too. She had coincidentally a massive, very traumatizing head injury several years ago. And she's still dealing with stuff from that herself. So she's in the midst of all this, seeing doctors on her own thing and her own stuff, her own neurological stuff. And all this happens to Ruben. And so she's trying to deal with both. And while juggling her own health, there's something about Ruben's relatives from, I don't know where they live. I don't know if they're in Sioux Falls or Grand Rapids, South Dakota, or if they are on the reservation, Pine Ridge. I'm not sure where they live. It's all kind of in the same area over here, west of here. And they want to drive out and see Ruben and help make some decisions. So as to what's to happen next, we don't know yet. So the last word on Ruben is that it's now over 2 weeks. He has since probably a stroke, but I can't say that because I don't know the exact facts. But he damaged when he had his first brain injury about not quite a year ago from the head injury from that door. And you all kind of know that because he would come on the show and he'd have half his head was shaved and a big long scar where they had to cut him open and release the blood on his brain from that injury. He had they had a door in their bathroom that sticks, and in the middle of the night he got up to use the bathroom and he couldn't open the door, and he's pulling on the door and he's got his head down and he cracks that door right into his head and it knocks him unconscious. He falls to the floor, and that was the first one, and they took him in for that, and he had that surgery on his head. And Susie thinks that they didn't keep him long enough. They didn't observe him long enough. And because he kept getting a little worse, you've even noticed on this show that Ruben would seem like he'd be really happy and really fun and really good to be with, good to listen to. But then there were times where he was very repetitive and very didn't remember that he had just said that 10 minutes ago. And she noticed that in him, this cognitive decline, or at least not cognitive like in senility or anything like that, but not able to concentrate, not able to focus, not getting confused very easily. And then the 2 weeks ago, she said he had come back to bed in the middle of the night. He had gotten up and said that he had hit his head on the door and fallen and passed out, and he went to bed. But she knows he wasn't injured. There was no bruising. There was no blood. And she's thinking he was confused about that story because she doesn't think he re-injured his head, that he banged his head again. But from the descriptions of what you're seeing with him right now, it looks like because of this brain trauma, he had, Susie even used the word cerebral hemorrhage. I said, well, that's a stroke. And she said, they didn't say he had a stroke. So she's got her own, with her own head injury, she had her own little bits of cognitive disconnect. And so she was very confused when she was telling me about that. And so I think that she might have the same thing going on in a different way. And maybe the doctors are saying, he had, because she's telling me the whole right side of Ruben's body is dead. It's like paralyzed. And he's got activity on the left. I don't know how the words and the language you use for this, but um, he's also being kept under, almost like it's not a coma, but it's a medication that keeps your body down, almost like paralyzing your whole body, your brain, stops brain activity, slows it down, heart activity, all of that, because they've got him intubated, respirator. But then this is what hails back to Uncle Dave, is that they said they had him on a medication, probably the same thing that did all those same things, and they had him intubated, and they were going to take him off of that to see if he could breathe on his own. And then they were going to do brain scans, because you can't do brain scans and get an accurate reading when you're on this drug. So they did that, and within 30 minutes, Uncle Dave had passed. And we all know that story. And so I'm seeing almost a parallel here with Ruben. Different causes for why he's in this condition, but it looks like he had a stroke. She said that he is, this is what she told me about 4 days ago, that when was it? Was it a week ago I talked to her? I talked about this on the Sunday show or Monday. But she said that they are saying, well, first she looks at him. She said he's emaciated, meaning and she said he's about 130 pounds last 4 days ago when she told me. And he got down to 130 pounds in that 10 days that he'd been there. So who knows where he is now with that. I don't know if he's doing better or worse or the same. He was the same 2 days ago. I talked with Susie. And so the doctors are telling her that if he comes out of this, that he won't be the same. That he would need constant care. He could not take care of himself anymore. And so that's the latest. That's what they've been telling her. That kind of talk I've heard before. And that's the kind of talk that says, we're preparing you for him to not make it. So it would be nice if Ruben woke up and asked for a sandwich. We don't know yet. We don't know what's going to happen. So, and it's hanging in the balance. And I think this next week is going to tell the tale of what's going to happen for the long run. If it hasn't already, and I just haven't heard. So everybody, as Kenny says, everyone pray for Ruben for a full recovery. Prayers do work. I've seen it work. I've had my struggles with prayers, as you all know. So I hope he pulls through too, Matthew. And if he does, if he pulls through in a meaningful way, that's enough that he can live a meaningful life afterwards. So we'll see. Just keep him in your prayers and your thoughts. So there's what's going on with Ruben. Sandra mentioned Ruben. So Brianna says, I'm about to send Harley in to wake up John so he can deal with them, because we have finally continue unpacking the boxes and get the garage emptied so I can park in the garage. Right on. Outstanding. Yeah, get John up. If you're up studying already and taking care of kids, he should be up helping. Unless he's working nights, which I know he isn't. So get him up. Get him in here talking. So Heather White says, that's such a shame, hoping he makes it. I do too, Heather. It's kind of tough. It's kind of tough, especially on the heels of Uncle Dave. And speaking of Uncle Dave, I mentioned that Sam and I and Flynn and Rowan came with that first time. Last Sunday afternoon, we were over helping. We finally located all of Dave's stuff. And we, meaning the collective of friends that are helping the family. Because John, the only surviving brother left of the Potters, is in his 70s, and he's taking care of his elderly parents who are in their 90s and infirmed. And this is what Dave was doing, was living with them and taking care of them, cooking for them and doing all the other stuff. And then Dave passed, and of course his middle brother passed of cancer the same day. If all of you remember that, Dave passed, and then his brother passed away an hour before he did. And so the two brothers passed on the same day. Here's John, the lone surviving brother in his 70s, to take care of his elderly parents. And then their mom passed away a week ago, a little over a week ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago now. And so John has dealt with 3 of his family members. His mom and his 2 brothers all died in 3 months' time. And his dad, nobody knows the kind of shape his dad is in. His dad seems to be doing okay, but, he's 95 and very frail. And so we went over. We got a friend of mine that was a friend of Dave's and did a lot of work with him, creative work, script work, Dana, and lots of creative projects over the 30 years I knew Dave. And she was very involved with Dave, loved Dave deeply, and he loved her deeply, and as much as we all loved each other. And then Wade, an old friend of his from high school days, they'd kept in touch over the years. And Wade said, it was like one of those things in recent years where every 6 to 8 months you got caught up. You know how that is with your own friends. Sometimes you go, some of my best friends, we don't talk. We've gone different ways. And it's not that we have anything wrong with each other. It's just our lives are so separated that becomes difficult. And so I've always been one that loves to maintain my friendships. And the people I love, I give my time to it. And I want to do that. I've got a friend in Detroit that I went to high school with, I went to college with. We used to hang out all the time. Then he moved to Detroit. He started working for a company out there, and eventually Ford, and he was with Ford for 30 years in their finance company, our branch. And I used to drive out and fly out to Detroit all the time. And he would come up here all the time, and we'd do state fair time, and we all got together and go to the state fair and so on. I've told that story before, but stories. And his sister and our friends and stuff. And we haven't done that in years. But we still maintain some kind of contact. He's on my Instagram all the time, likes stuff almost daily on my Instagram. And so we do talk from now and then. All his 3 kids are all grown up and out of the house. He's a year older than I am. And and he looks 20 years younger than me, by the way, I must add. He has all his hair. And it's still sandy blonde. Mine's white. So, in the light. Well, I colored it, 2 months ago? I put color in it, and it was the stupidest thing I'd ever done. I know Brianna gave me a packet of black hair dye once, 4 years ago maybe. And I said, I'm not going to dye my hair black. But I thought if I could put a little color in, maybe it will help me retain at least the visage of youth. I put that color in my hair, and I think it was like dark blonde. But it was so dark blonde, I looked almost goth in comparison. And so it was dumb. It was the dumbest thing I ever did. I looked at it and I said, I just look like an old guy trying to make his hair look younger. So now it's almost worn out. So the color I put in, you can see the white's coming through pretty well. And it wasn't temporary color, but it was temporary enough that after almost 2 months, it's washed out. So all that to say, Scotty, post a link. What was I talking about when you put that up, Ken? What link? Oh, a link to call in? You got it. Whoever wants to call in, here comes the link. Just look at the chat room. Boom and boom. I don't think it's a clickable link. I think you have to just copy it and paste it into your browser, and you can call in. So there it is, folks. If you want to call in this morning, there it is. Brianna, you can call in. You can have John call in. Lalanya, good to see you. Welcome to the program this morning. Glad you're in. And Heather, you can call too from Scotland. It's only 3:30 in the afternoon there, so you could call in. And I love seeing Heather. Coffee. We might have a Rainy sighting this morning. I don't know. She, like I say, she was gone all day yesterday at Mall of America with Rowan and her friend. And then she drove up to her mom's to pick up Ellery, who spent the day at grandma's. And so they made the big circle and came back down. And they got in about 10 o'clock last night. And after being gone about 12 hours. And so she's worn out. I said, come on down and say hi. Lalanya says, was watching some old... I can't read this without my glasses. Where is it? Was watching some old Ancient Aliens with my husband the other day, and you popped up. Kaboom! Yeah, that's a long time ago now. That's 20... Those shows aired that I was on. I was on 5 episodes, and they all aired in 2013 on the 5th or the 6th season. Here's Kenny.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
This says we might get some feedback from you. It's asking me to have you. There's some glitch with the sound, but I'm not hearing myself bounce back, so it must be okay.
Yeah, you sound great to me. I'm not hearing any feedback either. So,
all right.
If it does, I'll just,
Yes. Oh, by the way, Steph says, whatever happened with your JVJ appearance? I didn't see it. He had to cancel that at the last minute, Steph. And then he said, let's do it tomorrow. That would have been Thursday. And then Thursday he said, it's a no-go right now. He says, we're just going to temporarily put it off. So I don't know what's going on or what he wanted to even talk about. Maybe just politics and stuff. I don't know. So it's coming. So what is it you want to see, Steph? I want to see that. Let's see. So what's on your mind today, Kenny, KB, Ballos?
Not a whole lot, Scotty. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood out here today. And still get a bit of mid-50s, I guess. We'll do a little work on my Mustang. And
yeah,
that's about, work on that a little bit. And that's about my day. And then I might go to the cruise then later on this afternoon.
Right.
I do that.
So
that's my day right there.
I have no idea what we're doing today.
Possibility I might. I'm not sure yet. It depends if I get everything finished and set up. Possibility I might be back tomorrow morning for morning coffee with me. So.
Oh, right on.
Possibility I might be on tomorrow morning.
I know you've been working on a new platform, so.
Yeah. So I'm working on that and see how it goes.
Right on.
We'll go from there.
I know I have had my mornings have been so packed the last couple of weeks that I haven't gotten on to say even hi over there until I look and it's already 10:30 my time, which is 11:30 your time. So, but the 2 times I tried to get on, you were already gone.
Yeah.
So,
it happened.
Jason, what you talking about with picks? What picks do you want to see? You talking to Steph again? So, well, that sounds fun, doing car stuff. See, I was never a car enthusiast, so I never got into doing car stuff growing up or anything. It's just not something I got a chance to do. So,
well, Scott, it's something that you gotta like to do. You like spend just a little money to restore them. Like I've got the 67 Mustang.
Yes.
Mint condition, and So I enjoy taking it out.
67 Mustang.
67 Mustang.
They were pretty new back then in 67, weren't they?
Yeah,
I mean,
new. Yeah. Yes, it was.
How do you know you're getting older? When you say, I was there. I was there when the first Mustang came off the showroom floor. Assembly line. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I remember the first Mustang. Matter of fact, my dad had a 64 and a half Mustang. Then he had for a couple years. Then he turned around and bought him the Mustang Fastback. Back then it was called the Fastback GT. It was white, with a white red stripe and red interior.
Yes.
I would love to have that car there. I mean, I would love to have it.
There's Jason. We're getting feedback on you, Jason. You got to do the ear thing. Oh, you got him. All right. Brianna says, trust me, Scotty. We know that. Always calling John. He's there. Something's wrong with the car, or Raini hit a turkey and bashed in her hood, or the door won't shut on the van. John was always there. When we had the big Moby Dick, the big old Suburban, and it was having problems, big white Suburban. We called it the White Whale, the Moby Dick. And but it was a cool car. I liked it. But then it had brake problems that were going to cost me more than it was worth. And but John was out helping because it wouldn't start. John would come over and help with some other little engine problem, or he'd come over and help do this or help do that because he was handy that way. And what else? What she talking? Oh, Raini, when I was down in Louisiana, I think it was, she ran into a turkey, flew off the side of the road and into the front of her car, bashed in the front of her car. So anyway, there's that. So yes, John was always there, and he comes over here every now and then and does stuff that we need help with. He's good with stuff I don't know anything about. So it's too bad he's not right across the street anymore. You know, Brianna, we could find you a place over here. I think you guys should live over here by us. So, Moby Dick, Steph heard. Moby Dick, Steph. Moby Dick is a totally different ailment. So,
took the words right out of my mouth.
Is it like cold in your house, Jason? Or you? Oh, what's that, Kenny?
I'm not going to feed into that one. I'm just
not going to feed into that. You're not going to give that one life.
Definitely.
Morgan Snow needs a handyman.
Is it cold in my house?
I just wonder every time I see you. I don't know. Are those shelves? Are those all in your garage or something? Your studio garage? Because every time you're on,
this is my house.
You're wearing a hat and you're all bundled up in a outdoorsman type of gear.
I'm just wearing my fat electrician sweatshirt and my my Jeep cap.
You look like you're outside doing something. So, do you know what I want to do right now? I want to go outside and have a smoke, but I still haven't had a smoke. It's been 3 months. 3 months.
What's that?
So, there you go. Thank you for that, Jason. What? And
would I be your friend if I didn't do that?
Nope.
You'd be worried if I didn't have a smart ass for Mark.
That's right. And I will say this. About smoking. I don't care. It doesn't bother me that anybody smokes around me. I'm not going to ever turn into a smoke Nazi, but I am certainly done. Here, I'm going to get rid of that banner. I am certainly. I quit. And I thought, well, if I start up again, if I just have one, I'll smoke a whole pack. So that's the reason I've said, and Brianna coughs on cue. If I light up again, so I just
exactly what happened to me.
I just haven't done it. There have been times I'm sitting here all alone in the house and nobody's here, and I'm like, not that anybody is riding my butt on it or anything, but I'm like, I should just go have a smoke. I really feel like when I thought, no, if I do it, I'll smoke a whole pack. And so I just haven't done it. Does it mean I miss it? Yeah, I do. I miss smoking. I like smoking. Always liked the act of it. I didn't quit because my doctor said quit, although he's said that 100 times. I didn't quit because anybody around me said I got to quit. I didn't quit for any reason other than I had a chest cold and it hurt to smoke. And so I stopped. And by the time I was done, I thought I should maybe I should just try quitting for a while. So what you doing, Brianna? Covering your face like that?
I'm dying.
Oh no. So you're sick.
Oh, we've been sick for 2 weeks.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
Gross. That's horrible. Oh, yeah. Kenny is over there. Hey, Brianna, how you doing? So I got to show you guys a couple of things, and I said I would. If you look behind me, my sword collection has grown a little bit. Not much, but I got my one sword back from Sam. That's the tall one in the middle. But then I got a little short court sword here from Uncle Dave from his lockers. There's a couple more that I wanted to get, but they were looking at maybe trying to sell some of them because his parents wanted to get him a lot to put his ashes so Wade is over there today. He's going to talk to him and say, you can scatter his ashes. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on a place to put an urn of ashes. So all of that to say there might be more stuff available that we can get that everybody has said Dave would want you guys to have this rather than put it on the open market. And so they were concerned about that. And so we might get a couple more swords in here, but Wade, who is working on all the legal stuff, he set aside all of Dave's costuming stuff that he wore at the festival and his Captain Morgan outfits. If you go over to Dave's Facebook even now, David W. Potter, you'll see his red outfits were his Captain Morgan. And so Sam got all of his Captain Morgan stuff and they set aside for him. And then there was a couple of costumes that I could take. Now, Dave was a little bigger in the body than I am, but we were about the same height and stuff like that. So his stuff fits Sam. It's going to need a little nipping and tucking. And I got a couple of costumes. I was going to show you. I've got them laid out over here. Some of the stuff that Dave, if you remember Dave and he's talked about it, he was a master tailor. And he had a firm belief spiritually reincarnating that he had been a master tailor, especially in the eras that we've talked about, the Tudor era and places like that. And he had his whole host of reasons why he believed that. And these things came to him naturally, and he's a natural creative. I'm going to grab some of these. I want to show you what they look like. And they're sitting just right over here. And these are a couple of the costumes that he made. And of course, my camera's far enough away, I think you can see these. This is the one I had said when we first started talking about his stuff after he passed. I said, there's only one thing of Dave's I really want. And I said, that's to remember him by. And that's this coat that he made. This was one of his Captain Morgan coats. That was a big long coat, pirate coat. And so I've worn this in a couple of photos with costumes, and it's long tails on it. So this is this is his captain's coat. And so I got this one. And then underneath that was something I hadn't seen in a long time. Dave created this. It's a waistcoat, an undercoat like waistcoat. We got our word vest from waistcoat. It's got the lace up back on it. They were adjustable, but he had done all the hand. It's really hard to see in this light, but all the hand brocading. He stitched all of that by hand.
Whoa.
On this. And so it's an elegant piece. I don't think I'd wear it with this coat if I ever wore this coat for anything. But if I ever get out to the festival again, just to visit, But I got one other costume of Dave's, and this is all part of who he was. This is stuff of I wanted this coat in particular because I wanted this to remember Dave by, and that's just going to hang on I'm going to put it on a mannequin here in my studio, and that's where that's going to hang. So I've got that, and hang on a second. Then I also have this is a costume. I think he made this when he became the Lord High Sheriff out there. Now this is just a doublet. A doublet was just a coat. And does this have detachable sleeves? It might have. Yes, it has detachable sleeves, which is the way they were made for warm weather. But this has some, you can see his tailoring in this coat. And this isn't just applications he's put on. This is what they called, I think it was called slash and puff, something like that. It was where all of these pieces here, these round pieces, are the fabric that is underneath the lining, and they put a slash in the fabric here, the black fabric, and then you would pull this out. It would puff out, and you'd stitch it into place, and there's a little pearl or a diamond or something that's sewn into each one of these. And then you can see even the craftsmanship. This is the liner. That's the inside of the coat, and he did all that on the lining of the coat. That's all ribbon that he sewed in. So this was one of his. And so if I ever go out to the festival, I may wear this, if I ever go visiting out there. But you can see even the sleeves. It's got the slash in the sleeves, which was that period, and then the slash and puff on the. So just showing that to show the kind of elegant. If you were to have a costumer make this for you, it would cost you a couple of $1,000 easily because of the kind of garment it is. So that's a couple of the pieces of clothing of Dave's that I got. And Sam got his red stuff. And we got a couple of other little pieces of things. And it's not like vultures descending. Sam was even very reluctant to ask, is there anything of Dave's I could have to remember him by? A costume piece, a hat, a coat, a sword, or something. And so we got all his Captain Morgan stuff. Sam pretty much got the lion's share of that stuff. He was the one that I think was probably, out of all my kids, he was the one that was the most saddened and the worst affected by Dave's loss. And so he got a few costumes out of it, and he got a bunch of swords and daggers and things like that. And there's a whole bunch more so that are sitting in storage that Dave used to teach classes. He's got like 40 swords sitting in containers in his storeroom, but they have nice hilts on them. They look like nice stuff, like what I've got up on the wall there, but the swords are all curled at the end. They're blunted for class, and there's no edges on them. And so they were all manufactured to be training swords. And so I think Dana, she has classes that she teaches still, and she's gonna probably have those in her studio. And there's some other swords that we're looking at. So we'll see.
Did Dave make costumes for people that
he did?
Them?
He did. He made a lot. He did a lot of costuming, and for people out there, and he was very good at what he did. The boots that I wear, he made my boots. He would just go find boots. He'd go find a good pair of boots at the store. I'll go with you if you need, just a nice pair of boots. And he would strip off the uppers and take leather and recreate the uppers. So you had like big bucket boots that went up to the knee, like mine. I think I may even have a picture of one that he did for me. Let's see if it's in my store of photos here that I've shown on here before. No.
Hi.
No, it's not. Hi. Are you being a good girl for Mom this morning?
Mom.
No.
At least she's honest. I mean, I like that.
That's right. That's right. I'm looking for a picture here, and we'll see if we can find it of Uncle Dave. And it's actually got this black coat, but it'll show you the kind of boots he made. So this is the stuff he did. He did this stuff for people all the time. He was always had a full roster of making things. You saw the masks he made for me for Tam O'Hare. He did that kind of leather work as well. And I'm just seeing if he's got. I don't see anything in here, so I don't know where I would have had that stuff. But
did he ever do any like French and Indian War stuff? Or
he did French and Indian War. He made red coats. He made himself a red coat like mine. Raini made mine.
How about trapper stuff or
trapper stuff he did?
Stuff?
There's actually sitting upstairs right now one of those. We call them Daniel Boone coats, and it's dyed red. It's the hunting frocks from the 1700s. You'd see the men, and they had the fringes that went across the chest, fringe down lower, and they were long, almost down to the knee. And so he had a couple of those, and so pretty neat stuff that he had. So and that he made. I could bring that one, but I have to go upstairs and get it. It's almost time anyway. I got to warm up my coffee. Yes, he was a very talented man, Sandra.
He is going to steal their Chris.
We're watching The Grinch.
Yeah.
Oh, the Grinch. You're a cold one, Mr. Grinch.
The new one.
Oh.
You really are a hero.
Ow, don't bite me.
Well, you think I know the words after hearing them for 50 years.
I'm trying to think who voiced the Grinch in the original one? Did all the singing
James Earl Jones.
Was it?
Yes. That was one of his first big jobs. So he sang it was Boris Karloff that did the narration.
Yeah.
But the song was sung by, all right, Kenny's going to get coffee. But he did the singing, James Earl Jones.
Okay, see, I didn't know that. I just figured it was Burl Ives.
Burl Ives. Yeah. Silver and gold. That's what I remember him from, playing the snowman and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That's how a whole bunch of kids got to know who Burl Ives was. Then you saw him in movies where he played like bad guys, and you were like, that's the snowman from Rudolph? So he was Big Daddy in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof with who was in that? Elizabeth Taylor and Paul Newman.
Yep.
And he played Big Daddy. And,
you're about to get rocked.
You're about to get whomped, little child.
Are
you being helpful to your mom this morning? I'm just curious.
His mom shakes her head.
Harley, are you being helpful? You're helping mom get her stuff done. You're being quiet for her when she needs the quiet. That's what you're doing, right?
Look at that big cheesy grin.
Yeah, I know that grin. So
great.
You
now
find any
stuck in my head all day.
You find any of Uncle Dave's cookbooks yet?
We found a bunch of his papers. He's got boxes, and Uncle Dave was a lot more organized than you'd think. He all of his stuff in storage, it was spread out over places, and you couldn't always find everything. His RV was probably the messiest because he had just stacked stuff in there to move it from a storeroom. But everything we found, it was like down to markers and pens. They were all in a clicking Tupperware click, and they're all in there. All his scripts and papers and all that stuff were all in folders and 3-ring binders and stored in file boxes. Everything, while it looked like a jumble of stuff that he had, it wasn't really. It was a jumble of organized boxes and things, and you just had to go through it. He knew where everything was, so he didn't leave any directions for anybody. He didn't have to. But he wasn't prepared to pass away, to die. And so all of his stuff was, sadly, his stuff was not findable.
Go wake up your dad.
We got Heather from Scotland here. Heather, lass.
All right.
How you doing?
I'm all right, thanks. Yourself?
I love your voice. You can take over the show now.
No, couldn't. How are you all?
I'm doing all right, and you're seeing it. This is about as good as it gets right here. So like the old movie title, is this all there is, or is this as good as it gets? This is it. So I like your colors flashing in the background there. So
that's my TV.
Yeah, it looks like you're in a studio of some sort, so it's kind of cool. Your studio lighting. Now, Heather does a lot of work she's very creative. She draws and paints. Are you still doing the stuff where you do this work on the walls and all of that? And plastering, yeah, of some kind.
I've not done it in ages, like about a year. No. Too busy.
I thought that was going to be your thing for a while. She did some very creative stuff. And,
I thought so too, but obviously COVID hit, and then put in a back burner.
Right. How about cakes? You still doing cakes?
No, not got enough time. Well,
you could have had the Glasgow cake boss was Heather White.
Wait, she's Glaswegian?
Amazing cakes.
Thanks. Thank you. No, I've got no enough time to do anything except for work and then just look after my kids. So
yeah, working and looking after kids. I get that.
Are you Glaswegian? Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Oh,
you das cunt.
Yeah, you have the humor.
Get a few Guinness for me and you'll find out.
That's right.
Places on my bucket list to go.
No, you should definitely go.
When I was in Loch Ness or in Inverness, and then we went down Loch Ness, we went back around and down, but we went around Glasgow. We didn't stop in Glasgow the last time I was there. And we just didn't have time. We didn't put it on our itinerary to go visit Glasgow and see the sights. So I'm going to have to do that.
Yeah, you should definitely.
My daughters, you don't know this, my daughters called me a couple of months ago and said, Dad, do you have your passport? Is your passport still good? And I said, yeah, it's got a couple of years left on it. And they said, well, good. We're taking you to Scotland for your birthday. Oh, cool. And that was supposed to be this month. And we ended up putting it off. We're putting it off until spring, but for all kinds of different reasons. And so my daughters are going to take me to Scotland. We should all of us have a little meetup.
Yeah.
When we come to Glasgow, we'll stop in Glasgow because we're going to definitely go to Loch Ness and Inverness. So we'll drive down, southwest from Inverness, and you go down and you can get down to Greenock and Glasgow and all that area. So
that would be good.
We'll make it. That'll be in the spring. I'll tell you more as that gets a little closer. I was already thinking that, and I'd never talked to you because we hadn't firmed up the dates yet. And they were thinking, let's go the first week in November. We're going to go for 10 days to 2 weeks. And then we kept hearing from friends over there that can get a little cold. The weather's unpredictable in November. What's it like right now?
Drizzly, grey, drizzly, a wee bit cold.
Gray and drizzly. We'd just be finishing up our trip on the original itinerary that we had scheduled, or the original plan. It was like the 6th through the through the 18th. We were going to go, something like that. And now it's going to be pushed out to spring when it'll be nice.
So where are you staying?
What's that?
Where are you staying when you come?
Probably fly into Edinburgh. Is that what you're asking? Where are we going to go?
Yeah, where are you going for? Like just Inverness?
Just we don't know yet. There's all kinds of things I want to see. There's things in Glasgow I'd like to see. I want to go to Inverness. We want to go to, of course, we'll fly into Edinburgh, but drive around. I want to go up to Pennin, which is the other direction from you, where they filmed Local Hero up in Pennin. It's up toward Banff along the north coast there. I'd love to get up into northern Scotland, but I don't know that we'll have time to do that. We may just do it. I don't know. So a couple we didn't map out anything in great detail yet because we weren't sure of the dates. Those were the tentative dates, and then it just got kind of quiet. They had to get their passports renewed and all of that. So so we're thinking March or April, maybe even May.
May's a wee bit warmer.
A wee bit warmer, yeah. Yeah, we'll have to do that. So, John's awake now, says Brianna. Muted my mic. People are yelling. Oh, sorry. Tell John, we're so sorry, John, that we lapsed noise over into your beauty sleep. So, it is 10 o'clock in the morning here, Heather. So
no. It's 4 o'clock here, so it's getting late.
Yeah.
Are we really sorry, though, Scotty?
No, let's all make some more noise just to wake them up even.
We're not really sorry, Brianna.
No, him and Harley are yelling.
Oh, I see. Did she go bounce on him? Wake him up? Hop on pop?
Yep.
There it is. I don't know if you can hear that. Lucy is upstairs barking and running all around, and the kids are, I don't know what's going on up there. They got her going.
Probably an exorcism.
Probably, typical Sunday morning at the Roberts house. So let's see. Ken's going to a car show today. Brianna's studying for school today. Jason is hanging out, looking pretty today. And Heather, what are you doing for the rest of your day? You've already had your day. You're into the falling action of the day now, right?
Basically just bath the boys, put them in bed, just chill.
Yeah. Nice. Do they still take naps?
No. What's a nap? What's a nap?
What's a nap? Nap, used to be defined as mom's free time.
I can't remember the last time they napped.
Yeah.
If they nap, they're not well. That's
Yeah, pretty much. And we used to say, napping, you're supposed to nap, right? When you're a little kid, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're supposed to, but they don't ever. So, and then if they do, they fall asleep for 2 to 3 hours, and you're like, oh, I better wake them up so they're not up until midnight.
Yep.
So there's that.
No.
Well, then there's the fact they're being quiet, and with kids, when they're being quiet, something on a level of a war crime is going on in the house.
Yeah, a war crime.
You have to.
That's
Look
it.
what I drew! Oh my God!
What did you draw that on?
All over the wall.
You know what? My little girl did once. Ellery. She's now pushing 9. She'll be 9 in a couple of weeks. But when she was like 3 or 4, she got onto my desk and I was drawing pictures for a client for a book. And it was all just rendered in pencil, one of these drawings. And she took my eraser and thought it would be great fun to erase everything. And she erased a whole picture. Now I could still see it and make it out. But I was like, you did not erase that picture.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, yeah, I did. And that's where it's like, I remember the Calvin and Hobbes. Do you remember Calvin and Hobbes? The comic strip. Do you remember it, Heather? Do you
No.
ever see Calvin and Hobbes? He's supposed to be a little 6-year-old boy, and he's got the imaginary tiger. That's his friend. And but a fantastic series that this guy did. But Calvin's at the coffee table in the living room, and he's pounding nails into it. And you see his mom comes in and she yells, "What are you doing?" And he looks down, and then he looks up at her and he says, "Is this a trick question?" So, yeah, what are you doing? Well, I'm pounding nails into the coffee table. Duh.
There's a guy on Instagram, and I can't think of his name right now, but he's been in a couple of movies. He does he's big into golf. He does comedic stuff too, and he has this these videos that he puts up. And it's like conversation with a 4-year-old.
Yes.
And the character that he has created, and he plays it himself, is of his 4-year-old son, and wearing this oversized Stetson, usually wearing some sort of like Southwest vibe, flannel shirt, and he comes in and he's always like, "Excuse me, Daddy," and then goes into some sort of just ridiculous child logic kind of thing.
Yes.
My kids are 19 and 16, so like
Man, you're
long
old.
gone are those.
Jesus.
Hang on, let me go get my Metamucil and my Advil for my arthritis.
Yeah.
But like just having gone through all of that stuff and seeing it, it's just
right.
I die every time. It's priceless.
The stories we
just
could
do
tell.
a search for like conversations with a 4-year-old on Instagram.
Yes,
you will be glad you did.
I have some great memories of Sam, my now 22-year-old son, Sam, who when he was 4, all kinds of stuff, and I remember one in particular. Now, remember, I had custody of my children, so I raised my children. It was just me and my 3 kids. And the girls went to school. This was pre-kindergarten for Sam. He was 4 years old. And he got into the Lord of the Rings movies back then when he was 4. And he kept spouting lines from the movies, "Never again! None shall pass!" And, he'd do all of that. And but because we were Renaissance Festival, we had all these costumes all the time. The girls had these hooded cloaks that they wear out to festival, and they clasp them with a clasp in front. Oh, I hear a young man.
He's running about with a toilet roll tube.
But Sam had on, he was wearing underpants and a cloak that he clasped at the neck, and it was a little too long, so it was dragging behind him. So Heather, you're probably very familiar with what that's like. It could be a bath towel. It could be whatever. Underwear, nothing but underwear, little tighty whities, and a cloak. And then he's got all these toy swords, this being one of them. His toy Sting sword, which back in the day worked. It would light up blue and it would make noise. And but he had that tucked into his underpants and hanging down. And then he had another sword, a play sword, tucked into the back of his hood. And then he also had a toy bow and arrow. And not Lord of the Rings related. It was red and white striped, and had about a half a pound pull on it, And he'd have these arrows that are fake arrows that you could put on it, and you'd twang, and the thing would just and land. And one day I'm working at my computer, and I'm typing away, and I hear something, and I look over, and there's Sam. I had these glass French doors that opened into my office. They were open. He's standing in the entryway. He's dressed in his undies and his cloak and the sword in his undies and the sword. And he's got an arrow cocked and he's got it pulled back. And there's no pull on this thing. There's no weight, but he's doing what he saw in the movies. He's doing this. He's got the arrow pulled back and he's going shaking like he's straining. and he's got it pointed in my direction. And I said, Sam, don't you dare release that arrow. And before I got the word arrow out, he goes, shing. He goes, foop. And there's no pressure to it, but it goes, foop, and it lobs right over, hits me right in the side of the head. And I said, why are you? And I got up and I chased him, and he went, ah, and started running. He had this cape flapping behind him, all these toy swords flopping, not really rattling. It's plastic. And I finally caught him and taught him a lesson. And it was funny, though. He remembers that one. But there you go. That's what that reminds me of. And that's what 4-year-olds do. Heather, is that what your 4-year-old does? Stuff like that?
Kind of. My 4-year-old thinks he's a princess. Runs about. But there was a funny story. I don't know why he started off. It had a cape on him, and then I went and left him. I was cleaning the house or whatever, and then he had like a pair of pants on his neck. He put his pair of pants on his neck, and then I went away, and I was like, he's been too quiet. So I stepped back into the living room, and he's got about 20 pair of his own pants around his neck. He was going blue. I was like, oh my God. I was trying to rip these pants off him, and I was like ripping his ears off at the same time. But I got such a fright. I was like, don't ever do that again.
Oh, Jesus.
It was like a big neck brace of pants.
Oh, wow.
It was terrifying, but it was funny. Like after
we lost Kenny. I just noticed. Let me take that pause to say, hey, Sean Holt, good to see you. You're out there. I was going to say it when you popped in. Go ahead. You were saying something.
Well, I don't know. It was funny after I managed to get them off his neck without him dying.
Yeah, well, it's good that you did, obviously.
Luckily, I walked in the living room at the right time because he was just about blue.
Oh man,
he got a fright, so I was like, I don't think he'll do that again. But
he just keep tying him on or something, and
I was just putting the leg of his pants on his head.
Like,
put like 20 pairs of pants on his head, and his neck was like that, full of pants. So
obviously,
he's got a fright, and obviously, but it was terrifying. But
yeah.
After it, we had a wee laugh about it. But Jesus, if I'd never went into the living room, he'd probably have been choked out.
That's crazy. You're a parent, and you're there. You're in charge. You're watching. 5 minutes later, he's got 20 pairs of pants choking him. So, yeah. What are you laughing about, Harley?
Apparently she finds that hilarious.
Brother Joseph Andrassi is here. Good to see you, Joe. Nice to have you here.
This is the guy.
Sean Holt, are you still around? Oh, there he is. What? Which one is this?
That's Callum, the one
I was
had
going to
the pants
say
on.
Callum, but I wasn't sure. How you doing?
Oh, he's
Callum.
awful shy. He's awful shy. He's want to say hi? You can say hi then.
Give us a good Glasgowian greeting.
Say all right.
Oh.
Hello, but you say hello?
Hey, Callum. How you doing?
Kid, no, he's too shy. But
yes.
He's not.
Morgan Snow says, bow and arrows are dangerous to have a hole in the door from. Don't you dare. Yeah. Well, you know what? It had no pull on it, so it wasn't too dangerous. You can poke an eye out maybe, but if you got the right trajectory on it. So,
I mean, you could have always traumatized him for life and just slumped over in your chair.
I could have.
You'd never do that again.
We had a moment with the Highland Regiment, a red-coated group, French and Indian War, 1750s, and we were out at a big reenacting event, and of course everybody there is all dressed out for the rendezvous. So it's all these kids in Revolutionary War era clothes, and they're all out playing in the fields, and we see a group about 100 yards away from us. And there's a group of kids all kind of standing in a circle out there, about 15 of them. And there's Sam, again, about 4 years old. It was the same year, moving back and forth between all the kids in the circle. And he's yelling. And he's got a big wooden sword I had just gotten him at the rendezvous. You know, a $10 wooden sword. A big two-handed claymore is what he's got. And he's going back and forth, and he's swinging at all these guys. And they've all got their wooden swords, and they're fighting him. But he's going back and forth from the middle of the circle, and he's yelling, "None shall pass, and never again." And he's out there fighting them all. And all us guys in the regiment, we're all watching, just standing there laughing, watching Sam holding off at least a dozen kids. And Mr. Energy back then. And so anyway, so that's that. I am going to go warm up my coffee. If you all want to take over the conversation for a couple of minutes, Heather, regale us. Tell us a story.
I don't know. I need to go make their dinner anyway, so.
I'm going to go
funny.
get some coffee. I'll be back in 1 minute. Everybody sit tight. Don't go
59,
anywhere. Or
58, 57,
as they say elsewhere, they say, don't go
55,
nowhere.
54, 53, 52.
Yeah, he's timing me. I'm not even out of the room yet.
Put on the spot.
Gotta keep you on your toes, Scotty.
Okay, stop it.
So, how's the weather?
Oh, well, doesn't it? Come on.
Say again, kiddo.
Say hi. So where are you from?
Who wants to go first on that one?
You then?
I guess I'll go first on that one. So I live in sunny, absolutely frigid North Dakota. So yeah, I'm probably about. Scotty's down in the Minneapolis area, so Minneapolis-St. Paul area. So I'm probably about 5 hours north and west of where Scotty lives.
Is it snowing?
Thank God, not right now. We had an early snow back in October, and then we get a warm snap and it all melted off. And now it's just a matter of waiting.
When's it due? When's it coming?
Yeah, well, and it's funny too. Like, so I moved out here in 17. I'm prior Army. My last duty station was in Missouri, so I moved out here from there. But before that, I'd been at a place called Fort Drum, which is in upstate New York. It's like 30 miles from the Canadian border. So negative 35
I'm in the room.
temperatures. So we see and so we hear.
Who's
sir.
that?
And so when I took the job out here that I applied for, I was talking to the hiring folks, and I was like, "So what's it like in North Dakota?" And they're like, "It gets
Cold?
really cold in the winter." Yeah, and I'm like, "Well, I was at Fort Drum, so negative 35 and lower is nothing new to me. Whatever." Nobody tells anybody about the wind when they move out here, and the wind is literally what.
We were out in the
destroys your
plains.
soul.
You're in the
Yeah, there's nothing to
plains
stop
state
it.
out there. There's no wind breaks out there. It's all flat.
I could watch my dog, if I had one, run away until next Tuesday. Like, it would just.
Yeah.
There he is.
I still
Yep.
see you.
And yeah, that wind will force that cold in through every stitch, seam, nook, cranny.
Crevasse, as they say.
Sure, crevasse. If you want to go unfrozen caveman lawyer up at Saturday Night Live with it, I'm just a simple caveman. I slipped and fell in the ice and fell into a crevasse.
A crevasse?
But, the crevasse. Come on.
Wasn't that where we got our word ass from? It's like
Maybe.
a crack in the
Probably.
earth. There's a crevasse or crevasse.
No, we got it from you.
We got it from where?
You.
Me.
I found
Yeah.
the only thing that can actually stop the wind from getting into anything is my I have a reproduction of a World War II B-3 Shearling bomber jacket.
Nice.
That's the only thing that stopped it.
Nice.
Like, we put a man on the moon in 1969. We have sent satellites out to the furthest reaches of space,
Over
and you
there.
can't.
That one.
But can you
We-
make
we
a
can't-
jacket that stops the wind?
Right? Yeah. No. I have to rely on 1940s technology to do it.
Right.
Shama.
Yeah, there's a couple of jackets like that I'd like to get my hands on. So, cheers.
JP, where is it
Slancheva.
that you live in North
Slancha.
Dakota?
What's that?
Say again.
Where is it that you live in North Dakota?
So Grand Forks. I'm
Oh,
about I'm what 2.5 hours south of Winnipeg. So pretty
yeah.
close to the border.
John's grandparents live in Walhalla.
Walhalla. Okay.
They're
I
7
am not-
minutes from the border.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think that's much further north of me.
Jason Patrick was only 20, and we thought him an old man. He said he'd fathered children by the score, by girls back home in Grand Forks to women in Calais. And he swore by God there'd be 100 more. He's from Winnipeg in the song. So you mentioned Winnipeg, and it made me think of that.
Yeah, I'm not that highly prolific.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
And your 17 illegitimate children spread through Massachusetts to North Dakota.
Jesus.
Mm.
Can you
Look,
stop?
do
You're
not
getting
try
confused.
to compare me to Ray Charles. Right.
No.
I am not that epic in terms of reproduction.
That was actually a very, very old Steve Martin line. He was doing a comedy show, and we had an LP of his comedy show. It was back before cassette tapes became all the vogue. And we had an LP of his from the late 70s, the early 80s. When he did the white suit with the rabbit ears, Steve Martin. And he was talking about the ticket cost for his show. And he said, what does the ticket cost? He said, like $18. And we're like, you can date that right there. And he said, I think we should make each one of my tickets worth $10,000. He says, one show, goodbye. And with my take. And he said, then I could support my 17 illegitimate children spread across the country. So there you go.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Yes. What is Brianna saying here? Morgan, get some of the clay flower pots and the candles. Light them, put the clay pots on top of the flame. Shouldn't go out, and it'll help heat up the room you're in with it. Really? Your heat went out, Morgan. Hope it's not getting too cold till I can get it fixed. Yeah, our furnace went out 2 weeks ago when it was still warm. We just turned it on one night because it got cold. And so we got it fixed right away.
Go to the toilet. But nothing.
So what's your
I don't
weather
think
like? Do
he's
you have
nearly as shy as you think he is, or say he is.
No,
Yeah, he's only shy at first blush.
Right? Yeah. Because he has just been going all around.
he's a show
The
off.
blanket over the head. Oh, he's a show off, but he's shy. Huh?
Yes, they all are. Hey, nice.
You got a swing in the middle of your living room?
Swing in the middle of the living room.
I want a swing in the middle of my living room. Oh, man.
Yeah, me too. Well, you got one, don't you? You have 17 illegitimate children. So. Hey, look, Uncle Jason has a swing in the living room. No, kids.
No. I was waiting for someone to make that joke.
Yes. It had to be
Who's gonna
made.
say it first.
What did you do? Did you kick it off?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't break it.
He says he's shy, but he's absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I know how they all are. So my kids are the same way. My son, Flynn, is very quiet, but I see him with his friends. He's like the leader of the pack, and it's very outgoing, very, he's on the football team. He does all this, but at home he's like, Hey, Flynn, how was your day today?
That's
Hey,
one of those
son.
things.
Go ahead and say hi if you want to.
Hey, son, I love you. Good night.
Uh,
Man.
when my kids come to visit, it's like pulling teeth to get a hug. I don't have to put them to bed. They're obviously well beyond that age, but they put
Right.
themselves to bed. And like my youngest will just get up.
Zip
We'll
it.
be watching a show, dead middle of the show. We're like, this is great. And then all of a sudden just get up and start. I'm like, what are you doing? Going to bed? Not even going to say goodnight? Just going to Irish exit? You're just going to leave
do
and
I
not
have
tell
to?
anybody?
You're just not gonna say goodnight? Do I have to?
Kid, I brought you into this world. Get back here. Give me a hug.
That's right. Give me a hug, or you're grounded.
And now Haley just asked what Roger Rabbit meant by adult swing.
Yes. Carly said that. Roger Rabbit. Carly and I might have an adult swing.
An adult swing is a bigger swing than a kid swing.
Yeah, that just means it's bigger.
No.
Is that what that means, Roger?
Doesn't matter about how many points, attach it to whatever it's suspended from. No bits and doodads and
Yes. You can take things so out of context here. Roger says, Carly and I might have an adult swing. Morgan Snow says, thanks, I'll try that. Oh, wait, is that out of context?
That's when you tell them it's a porch swing. What's an adult swing?
It's a porch swing. A porch swing. Yeah.
But I can sit on the porch swing. Yeah, but we run the porch swing. So
yeah, that's right. Ooh, you have a swing made out of black leather? Cool, Dad. There we go. Jason, how's those nasal passages? Fine Corinthian leather, yes.
That's cute.
Roger says, next time you're at the park, just refer to anything but the toddler swing as an adult swing. There you go. That's
how you get kicked out of the park.
Was it Rowan or Ellery? Not this last summer, but the summer before. We were still living across the street from you guys, Brianna. And Rowan got stuck in a swing at the park. It was either Rowan or Ellery. I just remember a big kid, older kid. So it might have been Ellery. But she got into it was Ellery, because she did one of those common sense things like, oh, I can still ride in the toddler swing that has the legs cut out of it, and you have to slip into it. And they couldn't get her out. She couldn't get out. And somebody called me. And so I drove down to the park. And there's Ellery, and her legs are turning blue. Talk about turning blue. And we could not pull her out of there without ripping skin. And a mom walked over from one of the houses that faced the park. And I said, she's stuck. I said, do you have any kind of oil? I said, I could drive home and get it. But she went and got some cooking oil, vegetable oil. And we just took that and just poured it around the tops of her legs and worked. And then she slid right out. She popped right out of it. But yeah, I said, we're not going to be doing that again, are we? And she had the little red and blue bruisey rings around the tops of her thighs. So
I'm just glad that she produced some sort of, cooking oil.
Yes,
for a second there, I thought there was going to be a follow-on joke from the earlier discussion. I'd be like, oh man, really?
Yeah, nope. That would have been bad. So
well, this is awkward.
Yes.
That's all I had.
Dad, when did you and Mom put a swing in the bedroom?
How'd you know about that? You're not supposed to go into Mom and Dad's room. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's our. My kids will come walking. The master bedroom is right on the other side of this wall, as everybody knows, because I've said it 100 times. And you can walk downstairs here,
Right.
and open up the door, and the kids just walk in. Nobody knocks. I've been teaching them since the day they were born. When there's a closed door, you knock. And, I'm standing even as late as this morning. I have a 12-year-old girl that just right into the bathroom. And I'm standing there, with my respective stuff in my respective hand, doing my morning routine. And I said, knock, please.
Mommy,
And she's like, hoop, hoop, and she's up. And they
please.
still don't knock. And they'll just be coming in. I could be standing here in the bedroom putting on my pants. I got a shirt on, but I got nothing on from the waist down. Thank goodness my butt was facing the door, and I'm leaning over, putting on a pair of pants. And the door comes flying open. Dad!
None of us needed to see.
It's like none of you needed to see, but many of you would pay for. And like, Brianna, you still owe me $5. So.
From what?
Never mind.
Put in his G-string. What are you talking about?
That's right. I charge a quarter.
His stage name is
she owes me $5.
Cinnamon.
Do the math. So, but there I am, and I'm pulling my pants up, and I'm like, hello? And with guys, if a guy isn't wearing any pants and he bends over, you don't just see buttocks and all that other stuff. You see the dangly bits sometimes. And it's like, hello? I know it's a kid because right away they're screaming at you for something. And then she backs out real quick. Gross! And it's like, excuse me? It's not that gross. And I said, that's the butt that attracted your mom. That's why you got made. So don't call it gross.
And that's why you should always knock.
That's why you should always knock. That's it. Yeah, they've gotten to where they kind of knock on the bedroom door. It's like, knock, knock, hello. There's no lock on the bedroom door. I'm gonna put up a deadbolt, one of those, the old-fashioned bolts. I'm gonna put the two brackets on either side of the door with the log that goes over the door, so you can't open it up. So
see, I count myself among the blessed few who have never had the experience of having your children barge into your room while you are sans clothing or other adult-oriented activities. And I myself have never actually
have
experienced.
never done that.
I there are people who are traumatized to this day from seeing parental activities. I am not among them, and I am thankful.
Sam used to, when I first knew Raini and she was new to the household, there was one, you're a parent, you take advantage of nappy time. So Raini and I are in the bedroom, and we're in bed, and feel the whole bed moves. And you look, and there's Sam sitting next to us like this. He goes, what you doing? Like, Sam, you need to leave the room, please.
Freak wrestling. Get out of here.
Bryn's favorite story. Brienne, one of my twin daughters, Bryn. She.
You don't have twin daughters.
Yeah, I know. It's a lie. But there was once when Raini and I were still dating, and it was in the afternoon, is all I remember. And it was in the bathroom. And I'm not saying this to be shock value, but all of you who know it was vanity sex. And so up on the vanity in the bathroom, and I thought I heard the door open, and I look, and it's closed. And I thought, oh, that was weird. But remember, this is the same bathroom where Raini had the paranormal experience, where all the drawers opened up and slammed. I thought, oh, that was weird. And a little later, it might have been a day or two later, Bryn came over to my desk and she said something about, oh, Dad, I just wanted to say, you should try locking the bathroom door once in a while, or put out a sign or something. Abby's like, yeah, put out a sign. And I'm like, oh, that was you. Yes. I said, sorry, but I make no apologies. So, yeah.
Hey, I need to go.
All right.
Dinner.
On that note, Heather needs to go. She says, I'm so offended.
Oh
So,
my God, I can't believe what I'm hearing. Disgusting.
Heather, it's so good to see you,
You used to.
and I'm glad you called in. And we'll talk some more as we get closer to taking a trip out there. We'll get stuff lined up. So,
No bother, I'll get you a bottle of Bucky.
yes.
Buckfast. Do you know what it is?
Wait a minute.
A bottle of Buckfast. That's what we drink in Scotland.
Oh, right on. We'll have to do that. So, well, you have a fun day with the boys, or fun rest of your day, and good to see you.
Yeah, you used to.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Hey,
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheerio. Well, that's very British.
Now look, you got him.
Oh, look who's here. Sorry about that, Jason.
Nope.
I was just going to expand this out so we could see John and Bree. There we go. And I hit the wrong button. How you doing, John?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. You look good. You look bearded. So wafty bearded.
Excellent beard, sir.
Yes. Here.
Yeah. I don't have a coffee mug. Sorry.
That's right. Is that a next generation mug right there? Yes, it is.
My iCars mug.
Your iCars
And when there's
mug.
a hot liquid in there, it says Earl Grey hot.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's a tea mug.
Yeah, it's a whatever mug, but sure, call it a tea
right.
mug. Yeah.
John and Bree, we have got to talk about doing a Friendsgiving, Thanksgiving sometime in the next few weeks.
Great. Yeah.
And you can we'll bring you over here unless you want us over there and you want to do all the cooking.
I'm doing that on Thursday already.
Yeah, we're some of my coworkers are coming over on Thursday because we're all on call. So
nice.
We figured why not just be on call?
All be on call together while eating turkey.
Yeah.
So
we
used to have when we don't go to a relative's house or something, we used to have Thanksgiving at our place, and we'd invite all our friends that didn't have anywhere to go. But Uncle Dave always came, and Reuben Fast Horse came a few times when he lived up here, and we'd have other people stop by. And we're like, we're out of people, and Raini has to work on Thursday, believe it or not. She works at the Dollar General up here. Mornings, mostly mornings. She works 7 to 1 or 8 to 2, something like that. But she's got to work on Thanksgiving for several hours. So we're not going anywhere on Thanksgiving. So we'll be here. And, we'll see if there's any transients that want to come by. And I'll bake up a turkey and broil a turkey, oven a turkey. What do you call it? You bake a turkey?
You cook a turkey.
Cook a turkey.
Cook a turkey. Yeah, I'll cook a turkey.
That's his old age showing.
Yeah, really. We would broil the turkey in a pit in the backyard that we dug by hand.
Yeah, we chopped our own firewood.
Chopped it. We used to do those for the regiment. We would build ovens in the ground with the regiment. It was a historical thing. We did it as a demo. You dig a trench that was kind of a curved, like a grave, only not quite as deep, about 3 feet deep. Then you dig a square hole, well, not square, it was oblong, into the ground alongside on the inside of the trench, and you dig a round hole on the top and down into the square hole you just made. And you could build a fire in there, and we cooked a turkey in there one year. Just amazing. And so the in-ground oven. And
yeah, people do that with full pigs. They'll wrap the pigs and bury it. They actually put the dirt back over the top. I wanted to try that.
Yeah, it's basically doing the luau style.
Yep.
Luau style. Over here in view of Mount Wanahakalugi, we are going to have our roasted pig for Thanksgiving.
Don't mind the dirt. Yeah, I'm going to experiment a little bit this year, and our turkey I'm actually going to put on our pellet smoker, and we're going to smoke it.
Nice.
What kind of pellet smoker you got?
It's like a Traeger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Walmart brand.
I have a pit boss, and
all right, but did you see the way that was delivered? What kind of pellet cooker do you have? Oh, okay. I have a Pit Boss.
Yeah.
That is not at all how that was delivered. All right.
That's how I heard it.
Yeah.
Everybody who has a Traeger is like, it's our Traeger, and then like I've got a Traeger or Green Egg or whatever, and it's like, yeah,
Right.
so I've got a Pit Boss, and it's actually pretty good for the cost.
That's cool.
You'd look at the price point, it versus like a Traeger, and you'd be like, all right, I'm buying the Walmart brand, and
Yeah.
it works perfectly well. And I
enjoy mine. I've done
ribs.
tons of briskets on mine, and
Cool.
it's works
Oh,
really
Yeah,
good.
we've had some. You had us over for brisket
Yep.
that you did on your. It was one of the first ones I think you did,
Yep.
and that was fantastic. By the way,
Yeah, I got
I'm running
requests.
out of smoking with her.
yeah,
I got requests for feeding all the guys at work to get
I'm
brisket.
sure.
So I'm gonna get three full size briskets and
nice,
smoke them all at work, and we're gonna have them for like lunch at work.
nice. I don't know what we're gonna do. I think we're just gonna do you're gonna do up a turkey on Thursday. I'm gonna put out the word and see if anybody needs a place to go on Thursday. They can come to our place
Just
within
don't deep fry and
reason.
frozen.
Not like 23
stop.
people, like 2, 3 maybe. So get that going. And that's funny that it's already Thanksgiving. It just turned November. Oh, it just turned July.
Right.
So talk about getting old. Everything's melting together. So
It's weird how time does that.
It's weird how it keeps flowing like that.
Hey, I'm just glad we
hot
don't have
time
any of that
guy.
white stuff on the ground yet.
Don't say the word. Do not say the
Don't
word.
say the
Don't
word.
say it.
Yeah.
Don't say it.
Cocaine. There's no cocaine on the
Yeah,
ground.
I know. I can't believe it.
Calm down, Eric Clapton. Look.
What did I see? We watched some mindless movie the other day. Raini and I and the kids, and it was one with the wrestler turned out Cena.
John
John
Cena.
Cena, yeah.
John Cena, and he looked pretty good in that movie. He didn't look muscle bound, although he was. He looked lean. He looked lean, muscle bound, kind of like Sylvester Stallone got from Rocky 1 to Rocky 2. For those of you kids who weren't born yet when Rocky came out, and I can't remember who else was in that, but people that were all on an island. There was something about they were trying to win a job with a Japanese company to expand marketing and whatever, and the subplot. But then the other subplot was the dad, played by who is the guy that talks like this? He always plays a kind of Weasley bad guys. I can't think of his name right now. He's in Boardwalk Empire or something like that. You've seen him in
like
everything. He has kind of the round, buggy eyes.
Steve Buscemi?
Yes, and he played the father of the one woman, and Cena was going to be his son-in-law or something. But he had escaped from prison. Nobody knew that, and he's got ties with drug lords down there. He's trying to make some money, and so the whole subplot was that. And
Oh my God.
there was a scene where he gets a package. One of the guys gets a package in the mail, and it's a big bag of cocaine. And he's looking at this, and he thinks he's trying to hide it, so nobody knows he's getting this big meeting with this company and all this. And they bring it, and he brings it back, and all these couples that are there retreating together, they see the big bag of cocaine. He goes, well, what if it's not cocaine? What if it's something else? Cena, who is this military expert and everything in this movie, he's kind of dumb, not very bright, but he knows everything. He could kill you with his bare hands. He's only murdered 42 people, he said. I've only killed 42 people. But he knows everything, and he cracks it open. The next scene, you see him, he's sniffing it up, and he goes, oh, yeah, it's cocaine. And then Steve Buscemi's character came in, and he goes, did you get Mom's ashes yet? I had them sent here. And so I don't know. Can you get high off of it? Now, it had to have been cocaine. I don't remember the whole plot because the bag was about this big. You don't get somebody's ashes in a bag that big. So it's more like that.
Well,
I saw a
maybe
saw a
one of those
video.
off my 600-pound life.
You might have been.
I saw a
So,
video. Where,
is there a
where this
difference
guy-
between cocaine and human ashes if you snort it? I don't know.
I don't know, but I saw a video clip where these guys, dudes with his roommates, and he walks into the kitchen, and they're like scooping protein powder from this like package, this box into their drinks, and they're like, eating it and laughing about it, and they're like, he's like, "Hey guys, what are you doing?" And then he's like, they're like, "Oh, we're eating protein." Those are my grandma's ashes.
It's still one of my favorite Subaru ads. It's got to be 10 years old now if it's a day. These two guys, they're driving in a car and they're going up a mountainside and it's shaking all over. And he's holding the urn with Dad's ashes. They're supposed to go scatter Dad's ashes off the mountaintop. And they're bouncing around. And then it goes into the little ad about the price for Subarus and, the Subaru, this and that, and the suspension and all of that. And, you should have had a Subaru. And the last scene, it shows the guy, he's looking over his shoulder. He's got a dust devil and he's vacuuming up Dad all over the seats of the car. It's, in other words, you don't want this to happen to your dad's ashes, do you? Buy a Subaru.
That's right up there with. Do you remember the sound company Iowa?
Yes.
They had one for car stereos, right? And this is back in the 90s. It's great. See this young dude behind the wheel, clearly some larger sedan, and he's got the window down. Older gentleman sitting there next to him in the passenger seat, and they're in suit and tie, and he cranks up the volume, and it's Queen's Another One Bites the Dust, right? And he's sitting there, and he's just like, yeah, and like people are like passing him, and they're like, woo, and then it pans out, and it's a hearse at the head of a funeral procession.
Nice.
And the old guy in the passenger seat is clearly the director, and he just looks over at him, so disappointed.
Nice. Another One Bites the Dust.
Oh, God.
No one played at my my memorial. I told Raini, I said, whatever's cheapest. I said, you don't have to get a casket. You don't have to have me all of that. I said, you can have me cremated if you want. Ashes, sprinkle them wherever you want to sprinkle them. Just don't flush them. And or I'm not there to experience it, so what do I care? And bury me in a plastic bag in the backyard if you want, but not if you've like murdered me first. That's different. But which is not out of the question, folks. But
if you plant protected species of plants, you're okay because they won't dig them up.
That's right.
It's a violation.
Right. Yeah. Raini said something several years ago now about, I found the perfect way I could get rid of your body. And I'm like,
no.
Do I want to hear this? And she's like, you get a big metal box, one that can't be open, and you drill it full of holes, and you put your body in that, and you seal it, and you submerge it in a lake. And okay. She said, then the fish can all come in and out and eat you and all that stuff, and you're gone.
Oh, Lord.
And she had other details I missed. I go, you've got this all planned out, huh?
Yeah, they won't eat the bones.
Yeah, they won't eat the bones.
But... pig farm.
So she thought it was the perfect way to dispose of my body. So I saw an archaeological show last night that they unearthed this tomb in Great Britain that is the oldest Kish tomb that they found. One of those square with the rock put over the top, and but there was no skeleton, but all the goods were in it, jewels and gold and pottery and all kinds of things. And they found this white powder all over everything. They found out it was something weird about the soil it was buried in, combined with the human body. All the melting human decay melted the bones, and it turned it all over 3 millennia. They said it was 3,000 years old. Turned it into. Are you in the bathroom? Oh, never mind. Looked like you were standing in the bathroom. But I've done it. God knows I've done it. I've been on coast to coast with George Norrie. So, Scott, tell me about your new book. And, you wait through so many ads, and I had to pee so bad. And I'm live internationally on Coast to Coast Radio. And I'm looking around, and I spy a Gatorade bottle.
Oh, God.
Gatorade bottle. They're the only things that, the entry that's big enough to pee into. And so there I am. I'm talking about my book with George Norrie, with an audience of hundreds of thousands peeing into a bottle.
And I am here to tell you,
you were there and you heard it.
People on convoys will disagree with your statement about Gatorade bottles being the only one big enough.
Well, what do they use?
So we in Iraq, we would get these. They'd bring out these just pallets of 1 liter bottles of water.
Okay.
And you grab a case.
What it takes. Yeah.
And you throw it in the back of the vehicle, and when you're drinking and it's $1.20 out, you're consuming a lot of water, and especially these guys consuming a lot of Monster while they're consuming the water, all the caffeine, diuretics, have to relieve themselves. So yeah, regular old 1 liter water bottles. Watching some dude in the gunner's swing in the turret trying to keep it on target.
Trying to pee into a bottle.
Hold on, the 240 shifting. Wait, there's a bump. Sure.
Nice.
The only thing I was able to find that would work was a Pringles can.
Yeah, Pringles can, yes. And then put that on for protection. So
I don't know, the look on your wife's face there indicates otherwise.
No, I don't think that indicates otherwise. It probably indicates, I remember. Yeah, it is like that. Look, she's confirming your story, John. Yeah,
No, a Tic Tac container.
Boom! The M&M's minis.
Nice. Mentos.
The fresh maker.
That's right. So
that's why I have to stay away from Coke bottles.
That's right. You blow them up. Yeah.
I don't know, but if I ever decide to go on a crime spree, I'm buying a box of Mentos.
There it is.
The whole pack. That way, when the cops finally do catch up with me, and they'll be like, "Oh,
hey!" Exactly. Roger Rabbit says you can get a small amount of your ashes sent to the moon for about $15,000. Now, what do? We haven't had a live moon landing for how long? 30 years since we stepped foot on the moon? 35, 40 years? So what do they do with all these? Do they collect them up and they go, we're going to wait till we send the next manned mission to the moon, or do they just crash them into the moon?
I don't know, but they launched Scotty into space.
They did?
Yeah. They
James Doohan. Yeah. Yes. I thought you meant me.
Yeah, no, not you. About? No, you're in space all on your own. That's a different kind.
Yeah, that's.
Roger says the only thing that works for me is the big oatmeal containers. So.
Why are you bringing all these toys
It's
out?
the right thing to do, said Wilfred Brimley.
Well, did you see India went to the moon now?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
we have sent our first manned mission to the moon.
Yeah.
Shiva be praised.
Oh, that was bad.
It was a very big musical experience on the moon.
Yeah. And the guy just.
Yeah, it's like, did they get back? Did they make it back? Or they sent an unmanned mission?
They opened up another Bollywood studio there.
Yeah.
Yes.
They opened up a 7-Eleven.
We were paying $250,000 per person to go film on the moon. So,
and it wasn't even really somebody from India. It was somebody from here in the States. And they were like, I'm opening up a 7-Eleven there because taxation is theft. And there's no
Roger says
taxes on the moon.
You can now get curry on the dark side.
Harley, stop.
How does Pink Floyd feel about that?
The dark side of the moon? I have no idea. How do you feel about that, Pink Floyd?
Go bring all those back in your room.
Any members of Pink Floyd died yet? I'm just curious. They all still around?
Yeah, I think they're still kicking it.
Are they still doing any tours, like revival tours or anything? Has Pink Floyd done that?
I
Just
don't
curious.
know.
We used to listen to them in college, so
I just
high
love
school.
I love how Kiss keeps saying this is our farewell tour, and then like 2 years later, let's go back on the road.
Let's do that again. Yeah, exactly.
Not everybody has seen Gene Simmons' tongue live.
Right. Well, we're going to start wrapping this up. It is 10:56 and 37 seconds. And so we like to be out of here by 11 Central Time. Richard Wright died a while back, says Randall Flack.
Okay.
Oh, didn't know. Yes, they're still alive.
Barrett died in 06.
06. Oh, that's a ways back. No.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. That's like 18 years ago. So, is that right? Yeah. In another month and a half, it'll be right. So, what have I got to say? Raini was going to come in and make an appearance, but she went upstairs and did something else. So
Probably to talk about swings that scared her off.
Yeah, I think that was it. She didn't want to get into it. Or the conversation. Get in that thing. Yeah, she's worn out from yesterday. She looked pretty this morning though. I'm like, hey, you look really nice for having just woke up. And but she's sitting upstairs vegging out. So didn't make it down. Randall says Gilmore, Mason, Waters are alive. Oh, there you go. I didn't know all their names, so wasn't that big a fan. That's like Star Trek. You recount original Star Trek. Who's already dead? Leonard Nimoy, James Doohan, who played Scotty, Lieutenant Uhura, Nichelle Nichols.
So you've got Walter Koenig. You've got
he's alive. Sulu Takei.
Yeah, George Takei.
Sulu Takei and Shatner are the only three left alive. Yeoman Rand is gone. So.
Yep. I actually got to meet.
Excuse me.
Was it Jan?
Nicely done, Bree.
Not Majel Barrett Roddenberry.
She's gone too. Yeah.
She is, but it was she played the nurse, right?
Dr. McCoy, Leonard.
Leonard McCoy's dead, but the one Majel Barrett Roddenberry, I think, played. She didn't play Yeoman Janice Rand, the blonde.
Yeah, Janice Rand, who was what's her name? It'll come to me.
That one person.
Brain fart.
But I actually got to meet her at a massive 30th anniversary
she was
convention
hot.
that they had. Yeah,
one of my big crushes. So DeForest Kelley was Dr. McCoy. He was the first to go of that crew. And then
damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a doctor. Oh, wait.
Damn it, Jim. Scatter my atoms across the universe. What was her name? Who played Janice Rand? Why am I slipping on that? I used to know it like Catwoman. Who was your favorite Catwoman? Why, Julie Newmar, of course. The best. I mean,
Eartha Kitt was great, but
she could not hold a candle to
not visually. I think acting wise, she brought a whole different level to Catwoman that was great. But
Julie Newmar was like stunning.
Yeah,
and put Julie Newmar in a sparkly black cat suit. Hello. So anyway, on that note, it's now 11 o'clock and 10 seconds. We're going to get out of here. So everybody, thank you for being here today. We've only got a handful of you left in the chat room because it's 11 o'clock on a Sunday, noon in other places in the country. Adam West was my favorite Batman too. He wasn't he didn't have the muscles, but he was the presence. He was Batman. And so, I would like to see him play in some of the new movies that they did. That's Adam West as Batman the Dark Knight.
And then he just became the mayor of Quahog.
That's right, the mayor of Quahog. So, all right, guys, let's get out of here. Jason, good to see you, brother.
Good seeing you guys.
See you again tomorrow night when we do Intrepid Radio. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, folks. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Intrepid Radio, the real show. Not this tomfoolery that we do on Sundays. So we'll see you tomorrow night. Have a fun day, Jason.
Later, Scotty.
Good night. Good morning, I mean. Good noon. Brianna, good to see you. You sniffle away over there. Your Coke habit, you will conquer this if you keep trying.
Yeah.
So tell John goodbye for me. Bye, John. And,
Scotty says bye.
Bye. We'll see you guys soon. Let's talk. Let's figure things out.
All right.
Have a fun day. See you. All right. And everybody else, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this show. Thank you for being part of my life. And we'll see you again Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Live long and prosper, and shalom.